We look at the news through a horror lens. We lens news through horror. We horror news. Welcome to the Lost and Home Podcast. My name is Scott.
And I'm Jeremiah.
And we are back after a short hiatus.
Yeah, we actually recorded an episode. Maybe one of these days we'll just, when we need some filler, I'll go back and I'll fix it. But
one of us will get COVID or something.
Yeah, we ran into some technical difficulties with a piece of equipment, and I just didn't have the wherewithal to address it because I was abandoned at work and had a busy week.
By me.
Somebody abandoned me. No, actually, luckily, the stuff I had to cover for you was not actually that terrible.
Yeah, they saved it all up for me.
Yeah, they did. Yeah. They definitely did. I will say that people do feel more comfortable getting in touch with you, and I realize that when I'm out, people are like, I guess I'll just wait till Scott's back.
Yep.
So, but you were away, Scott.
Yeah, I went over to San Francisco, San Jose over in California. First time in Cali, second time on the West Coast. It was fun. It was nice. It was beautiful weather. Came back to a foot of snow the next day.
Oh yeah, that's because you
which is all gone, by the way.
Yeah, we had like one really nice day, like right before, like pretty much as you were traveling back. We had like a 50-degree sunny day. It felt like spring. And
that was the coldest day there was 50.
Yeah, and then literally like you got
coldest
back
night
and the night you got back, it started. We got like a foot of snow.
Yeah. Like I called my plow guy. I'm like, I don't want to get plowed out. In my head, I'm like, I don't have to go anywhere for 2 days. I literally let my driveway be impassable until the sun came out and melted
then you looked at the weather because it was also like, even if it didn't then, it's supposed to rain this weekend. Like a 40-degree rain.
Yeah, I looked at the weather. I'm like, I don't need a plow. I have the sun.
Yes, yeah, that's right.
Fuck you, plow guy.
Yeah.
Actually, I can't say that. If he ever ditched us, I don't know what I would do.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you're like, I do need him most of the year, but...
most of the year?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, you didn't hear about climate change? It's getting really bad.
You're going to hit him up in July.
Yeah. Come in, plow. It's just scraping up
just
dirt.
Sparks.
Yeah. Yeah. So you went out. I know it was not exactly a vacation because you were out there not for your work stuff, but for wife's work stuff. But you did have some fun. It sounded like. Oh, and you came back. Although if you couldn't tell by the
yes, I came back.
Yes, Scott came back. But also we're a podcast. We talk about some movies and horror, and we also talk about weird news, and sometimes we make new content, and that's all we need to hear about. But we actually have to start out. This kind of brings us into our originally we just do some movie talk or whatever at the beginning. But we actually we almost have a whole segment here because you watched some stuff when you were out there.
It's like a shotgun blast of horror stuff.
Yeah, you have some thoughts. Some scattershot horror stuff. You've got some thoughts about The Last of Us, which I still have not seen, but I played the game. And
spoiler free, by the way, as we talk.
Yes, exactly. Yes,
spoiler free. Just so anyone listening isn't like, oh fuck.
And the first thing is, and I actually read this book because your wife lent me the Paul Tremblay book. That Knock at the Cabin was based on, which was Cabin at the End of the World is the name of the book, which is great, and it sounded like your wife actually even liked the movie as much,
she did
more than
by far more.
Yeah.
I didn't read the book. After watching the movie, she informed me of the end. For anyone who hasn't seen the movie or read the book, the endings are different.
Yes, yeah.
I'll say is the movie ending, A+.
One of the most, which I actually really loved the book ending, but I could also see how a lot of people don't like those types of endings.
Oh, I could see how I could hate it. Yes. If they did it on screen, if I had to watch it happen.
Here's the thing. That's where I'm like, the difference between a book, like I give... like literature, like any kind of books, I give a little bit more. I like that stuff a little different. Like I expect different experiences out of a book and a movie. I spend 6 hours in a book like that. Like that was a relatively short book, but I probably spent 6 hours in that book. Like I spend 90 minutes in the movie?
Yeah,
maybe
like
2 hours.
The ending of The Mist. That is one of those examples of a great ending to a movie that's not from the story at all.
Not at all. Where even Stephen King said he liked it better. Granted, Stephen King is also notoriously horrible about endings. And we can and that's my cat just Jesus Christ.
Ow. I just got
And now-
attacked because I was trying to be nice.
Yeah, and then he's like rubbing up against you again.
Yeah.
My fucking
Ow.
God. Anyway.
Yeah, so that's my spoiler-free review of Knock at the Cabin Door, or Knock at the Cabin. Batista from Guardians of the Galaxy is at his best.
Professional wrestler, right? Originally.
This is proof that he can be a contender for like serious acting in the future.
Yeah.
I could see him someday actually winning an Oscar.
Yeah,
I really could. He's a good actor.
Yeah, I like him. Actually, it was great because I had seen the preview for Knock at the Cabin. Didn't realize it was based on Cabin at the End of the World until your wife let me.
I wish
borrow
I had
the
seen
book.
the theater
and then I remember like seeing or hearing, or rather, then it dawned on me like, oh, that's who. Like as I was reading the book, I'm like, I was picturing Batista because I was like, oh, this is who Batista plays. I'm like, it was perfect. So
this is one of those few movies I'm probably going to buy on Blu-ray and put on my shelf because certain horror movies I like having a physical copy of.
Yeah.
This will be one. So moving on from that to the next horror thing.
Yeah.
Everyone is literally watching The Last of Us on HBO. Highest rated show in forever.
I have not seen it because I just barely got my TV back, folks. I know people have been hearing me talk about not having any screens, despite the fact we're sitting in front of 16 of them right now. But I was like, I can't watch TV. But I finally got a new TV, so I'm going to binge The Last of Us when I get a chance. Probably not for a couple weeks, unless I do it during the week. But I'm thinking I'm just going to take probably the first weekend in. Second weekend in April, not the April 1st weekend, but the first one I've got free. I think I'm just leaving it to fucking binge all of it. So I'm excited. But I don't have to worry about spoilers because it stays relatively close to the book. Although you are going to give a little bit of a game versus show.
The game.
Sorry, the game. You're going to give a little bit of a game versus show comparison.
Yeah, I had when the game came out, I played halfway through for I don't even remember why because it was like 6 years ago. I stopped playing. So while watching the show, I picked up the game. Finished the game within a day of finishing the show. The show is so faithful to the game, unlike any other video game adaptation ever, that it is scene for scene, word for word, the same in 85% of it. I'd say. I joked to my wife after finishing the game. I'm like, oh, the easiest show ever to write. What are they doing in this scene? Click play on the cutscene.
Yep.
Write down word for word all the dialogue, all the sets design where they're standing and stuff, and then go make this live action.
No, that like and what that's pretty much like what I heard. It ain't broke, don't fix it mentality when writing it because you're like. Why would we change something where it was like, and when you're playing the game, you realize it's a great story and stuff. But there's times when you wouldn't get any story because there's some hard parts of the game where you'd be playing for 4 hours trying to get past a point, and it'd be a while before you. But now when you see it episodically, like hour after hour of just no gameplay of just the actual story, you're like, oh, this fucking story was as good as I thought it was in the game.
There's a point in the game where you have to go through some tunnels to get to a hospital, and in the show, they just go in the tunnel and they come out the other side, and they're like, we're at the hospital. I spent 40 minutes Thursday night playing one section of that tunnel over and over and over to the point where the game stopped at one point and popped up on the screen. Would you like to switch to easy mode? And I was like, I would like my last 40 minutes of my life back. Easy mode.
I'll be honest, where I stopped, because I do know how the game ends, or the story of the game, but like I didn't finish the game because I did end up getting stuck at a point, and I refused to turn it onto easy mode because it did the same thing. I can't remember exactly. I remember like going through. There's like a locker, and there's like you have to kind of go the very specific route to get past the fucking crazy zombies.
Sounds like every level.
No, it really is. It's every level. But this one specifically, I was like, "Fuck this shit." But also like, "Hey, dude, you want to switch to?" Because I tried to play it on like a harder mode, so it wasn't even like normal like the mid mode. I played it like, and I'm like, "No, I'm not gonna fucking go down." And I was like, "No, I have to. I should switch it to easy." It's what I had to do with The Witcher when I finally started playing that. I'm like, I'm gonna play it on the hardest mode possible. And I hated it.
Story games where I care about the story a lot, I don't necessarily need the challenge. I want the challenge when I play multiplayer, like first-person shooters.
Yeah.
I want to feel like I'm earning those kills.
Yeah, but
when I'm playing against bots, I want the bots not to wipe the floor with me and make me feel like a dumb human.
Well, and there are some games where like the story's not great, but in the game plays kind of fun, so I'm not going to play on the easiest mode. Like,
yeah, exactly.
I remember like in some games, like I was playing Assassin's Creed, Odyssey, and Origins, where I had to jack the the difficulty up because it was just like I was able to, especially in Origins where you could go back to a level and they weren't dynamic. Like I at least on Odyssey I played with dynamic range, so like if I go back to an early episode like location, like the enemies are like at my same level or two below or whatever. Whereas before in Origins, it was like I'd go back to an early stage and I'm like at like level 46 and they're like level 4. So I literally just breathe on them, piss on them, and they fucking die. And I'm like, all right. So sometimes those get a little too easy, but also the game, the story isn't that great for those. Like the Assassin's Creed are fun gameplay things, but I'm just like skip all the dialogue. I don't care. But like Last of Us, is notoriously like that. Red Dead are notoriously Ghost of Tsushima, like notoriously some of the best written games on the planet, like flat out as well written as movies.
Yep. My biggest complaint about Last of Us the series is the same complaint I'm seeing on the internet as a whole, and the makers of the show addressed it and said they'll fix it second season. There are no zombies in it almost ever, and there's episodes where you'll go 3 episodes at a time without seeing one.
Yeah,
and it kind of detracts from it. It's the only thing that hurts the show. Where I'm watching it, I'm like, seriously. Like, in the game, they would have killed 100 in this hour.
Yeah.
And I'm like, and they just kind of just
So some of the pacing there,
The pacing's fine. The story's good. They just, it needed a few, it's 9 episodes long, the show. It should have been 10 or 11 with a few more scary monster
It's funny, I was thinking maybe you were saying it should have been less and they could have, like, just crammed, like...
Well, the game is 12 chapters. Yeah. The show is 9 episodes. And the show includes the DLC, which would make it 14 or 15 chapters. Yeah. So they took 5 chapters of action out of it and left 9 chapters of story.
It's not the elongated things and elongated areas.
They elongated nothing. They shortened
it hard. They just took some action out.
Like I said, when you go from that one point where
they could have at least added one episode, like had it 10 episodes, it just had like some just crazy action in one of the episodes.
There's, like I said, the part where I spent 40 minutes in that tunnel trying to get to the hospital, where in the show it's 1 second where they go in and come back out.
Yeah.
That 40 minutes of me trying to get through one section of the tunnel was longer than an episode of the show, and it was pure action playing.
Yeah.
But you watch the show, and there's zero action. You're just like, okay.
Well,
I won't say zero. They kill a lot of fucking humans, just like in the game.
Yeah.
But the humans tend to be more the villain in the show than the creatures, by far.
Yeah.
90% of the villains in the show are humans.
That's just classic. I mean, it's luckily that
it's
came
HBO.
out long.
They have monster money.
Yeah, no, but luckily that came out long enough ago where like it's. I mean, the game did where it didn't like. Unfortunately, the thing I don't like about zombie stuff nowadays is that fucking tired trope of like, is the real monster human beings and how
that's
will
what they
respond?
did hard with the show.
Yeah, and I'm just like
the villains are the monsters are the people in the show, which isn't what I really wanted. It should be both.
Yeah, which I mean, like,
and
I get whether they're trying to show, but it's like that has been so overdone in zombie stuff. Like, Walking Dead, that was the whole crux of it, just being like, yeah, there's gonna be zombies, but the real thing you gotta watch out for is the monster called dun 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 humans.
Yeah, they lean into it hard. It's my only complaint with the show, and it's not a complaint in the people aspect.
It works.
Great,
it works,
but make it 2 episodes longer and let me see some creatures.
Yeah. And it just seems like when they do creature
they're
effects,
they're barely
cool.
in the show period.
And I love the. I would say I've recommended this movie here before years ago, probably 2 years ago now on the podcast. But the movie Gaia has some really sweet.
Oh yeah, I still haven't seen it.
Yeah, so it's an eco horror movie, and it's got some awesome. Like when I remember I watched it not too long after playing Last of Us, and there are some fungus. It's actually based on it's based on a fungus anyway, but. There's like the fungus based creature effects are really sweet. It's a relatively low budget South African film, but it's definitely like one of the most beautiful fucking like eco horror movies I've seen.
What other failing? This comes from the game, which carried over to the show. Is they refer to the creatures as their fungal name, cordyceps.
Yes.
They'll be like, no,
which is real.
Yeah, which I feel like at this point it's been 20 years since the infection happened. Nickname them like walkers. You know what I mean? Like call them Cordies or something.
Yeah, well, I was just
nickname them.
Yeah, I was just thinking Cordies. Yeah,
but they're still like, there's a cordyceps.
Yeah,
it feels very clinical.
Hey, go shoot that retard. We couldn't come up with a little better. Retard hasn't been like a bad word for a while.
Writer's room is really phoning this in.
Yeah, we'll have to repurpose it.
All right. My next thing is Evil Dead 4, Evil Dead Rise, and I say 4 because it is part 4. They're not burying that. They're titling it different because Army of Darkness was a different title.
I saw somebody posted like an article saying Evil Dead Rise movie by sickos for sickos, which I'm really excited about.
Yeah, it's very gory. Apparently,
it's tough for me.
In a good way.
It's tough for me to like temper my expectations for it because as much as I want,
mine are so high.
But it's hard because honestly. Name me one Evil Dead property that has knocked it out of the fucking park, including
There's
the
never been a
2013
bad
Fede Alvarez, including obviously the TV show that we interviewed most of the cast for, minus Will Campbell. But,
minus Bruce Campbell, and we didn't get Xena, but we got everyone else.
Oh yeah, but I mean, she was later in the I was like the core cast from
season one. We got everyone but Bruce Campbell.
Exactly, yeah. Which hey, we still got
go back and listen. If you go to our website lostandknownpodcast.com, there is a section where you can see our interviews, and if you scroll through and click on the image, I believe it'll bring you to the first episode we did with them if they had multiples, or the only one if it was the only time we talked to them.
Yeah, so we got Daniel De Lorenzo, we got.
Ted Raimi.
Ted Raimi and Ray Santiago, and it's fucking great stuff.
But the reviews are glowing. They say it's a great sequel.
We're gonna go
somewhere in it. Bruce Campbell's hidden. I have my own theory.
I'm thinking he's just people say that kind of stuff, and then you realize in the background there's like a action figure or something. I'm just thinking it's got to be some ridiculous.
I think someone might pull out like a newspaper clipping of something from Ash vs. Evil Dead, maybe,
or from S-Mart or something like that, like. Yeah,
something. I think it might be like that, like a picture of him in a newspaper clipping where they read about a previous. I don't know.
Yeah.
We don't know how it's going to go.
I'm excited. Apparently there's an Easter egg for us to look out for. I'm excited about
the car better be in it. The car.
We're gonna.
That car has been in every Evil Dead franchise piece ever.
We're gonna
I can't remember the make or model, but you know what I mean. The car.
Yes. Yeah. Absolutely.
The car that in Ash vs. Evil Dead kills his father.
Yeah.
Gets possessed by a Deadite. Which I thought was awesome also. Deadites can possess inanimate objects.
Yes.
I kind of hope they bring that into the movie,
makes sense
too.
Because they're
Because they did the deer head and the lamp.
Right off the bat, they're possessing trees. They're possessing deer, like deer head.
The lamp was laughing at him at one point. Evil Dead 2.
It's canon. Like it's absolutely canon. So why not go after something like that?
Possess just your hand.
Yeah, that's true. It's true. So really looking forward to that. I assume you and I are going to try to make a plan to see that.
That is 100%. I don't care what happens. I'm going.
And actually, speaking of going to movies, you and I after this are going to go check out the new Scream movie. I believe I'm definitely going.
We're going. Why do you keep saying that?
Well, I don't know.
He thinks I'm gonna bail. Like I'm gonna kick him out of the car halfway there and be like, walk.
Just just rolling down the hill, and our buddy is just like sitting there watching me roll down with like leaves and shit in my hair.
It's what he would have wanted. Yeah. He's still alive.
And he's like, gotta brush myself
but this is how he wants to die. Slow, rolling in leaves.
Yeah, he actually said, like, it's funny, years ago, he said, I want to die rolling down a hill on the way to see Scream 6. He wrote this in 1994. 1996 he wrote this.
Oh, I want to do that now. Be like, pick a horror movie that comes out, a new franchise beginning. Be like, we're seeing this in the theater. Mark this. When this movie hits part 6.
Yeah, oh my god. Yeah, so
I'm going to smother you with a pillow because you'll probably be in an elderly home.
So we're going to see that, and actually you brought a little bit of a story about Ghostface and the marketing endeavors behind all this, and figured I'd go and roll that over to you.
Yeah, so a person in the Ghostface costume from Scream was found standing motionless in Sonoma Plaza, and this is the location where the first film was shot.
Yes.
The person was wearing their full black cloak, knife in hand, mask on face, and a phone in the other hand. And this was a stunt as part of the promotional campaign for Scream 6, which already came out and we're going to go see. And basically this scared a whole bunch of the local citizens who started calling the police. Police said they were aware of the situation and it is not illegal to wear a costume in public. Although, wearing a costume in public brandishing a knife might be...
Yeah.
Black people get, killed
a hoodie
for wearing a hoodie in public.
And holding a cell phone calling their mom. So they will get murdered. But yeah, you're just
why aren't you doing anything about him? He's probably white under there.
Yeah, I think it's
seems like a white dude thing to do, walking around town in a costume with a knife.
Excuse me, please remove the mask. Oh, he's black. No, suddenly, Jess having white, the white Ghostface was fine. Yeah.
What we've learned from this story already is that if you're of any skin tone lower than white in this country, or higher than white, I don't know which way dark goes.
Let's say darker.
Darker than white. Your best case scenario when going for a morning jog is they'll grab a knife and wear a Scream costume.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
The cops will ignore you when the neighbors call and be like, he's just part of a movie.
I don't know. He's looking like he's running pretty fast, faster than a white person runs. That looks like he's got them Kenyan legs. Let's go get him. Yeah. He's like, that's a Usain Bolt fucking Scream Ghostface if I've ever seen one.
But the Ghostface costumed, I don't know, what do you call it, mass marketing thing is happening in other places as well, including New York City, which is very fitting since this is Jason Takes Manhattan all over again.
Yes, yep.
And Los Angeles.
Only actually Jason Takes Manhattan. We were talking about that earlier.
We haven't seen it yet. We haven't seen it.
Yeah, well, yes, true. That could be like the... But people are
it
saying...
takes place in the original town up until the end where one character flies to New York to get away from it. He'll never get me on a plane.
Exactly. It's just like, I kind of want to go to Manhattan. And they just, like, leave and go. But, like, it supposedly takes place in an actual urban setting versus Jason Takes Manhattan, where everybody's like, oh, he's just going to fucking carve his way through subways and shit. And they're like, no, he's going to mostly just do it at a camp, and then at the end he's going to be seen, like, walking across a lake or the, river, the Hudson River.
They walk across Camp Crystal Lake into New York City. Because,
What? Wait, Camp Crystal Lake was Hudson River the whole time?
I'm surprised more kids didn't drown. That's not swimming water.
Yeah, and they just retcon it like with like fucking George Lucas style and put the Statue of Liberty in Camp Crystal Lake, like all the original
CG
ones.
It in.
Yeah, oh my god, just like they have like the same actors.
They're skinny dipping.
Yeah.
And you just see the torch in the background.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they just
I'm glad we get skinny dip at night by the light of the torch.
The torch, because it's New York City. Yeah, I love Camp Crystal Lake, New York City. It's like it just
Camp Crystal Lake, New York.
It's bad. It's
Start
like really,
there.
Yes, yep.
And upstate New York is anything past the island.
True. Yeah.
Because everything's upstate from there.
Yeah, exactly. Anything past the city.
Pick the first lake outside of the city. That's Camp Crystal Lake.
Yeah, exactly.
So he can walk it.
Yeah. It's just like a suburb of New York City.
Jason walking across the Brooklyn Bridge.
Yeah.
No one noticing. Yeah. Oh, it's one of those movie promotions.
Oh man, a super meta.
Yeah.
It's like it's Friday the 13th one.
People
but
are taking
actually,
cell phone selfies with him.
Hey,
He's like,
Jason. It's Jason from the upcoming Friday the 13th series we haven't seen yet. Yeah. Perfect. All right. So so we've got Ghostface popping up. I'm looking forward to seeing that. But also as a little bit of this is more of a story aside than it is an actual sequel, but. Cocaine Bear did really well in theaters. I'm actually going to go see that pretty soon, I think.
Okay, I haven't seen it either. I have one friend who saw it, and his and I's taste align pretty well. He's an Evil Dead fan, for instance. Yes, yeah. And he fucking hated it. He went online, and he posted a long diatribe about it.
I'm a big fan of, like, some people I know like that. Like
he couldn't articulate why he didn't like it. He just kept saying it was stupid.
But remember, it's not, like, some people who have the same taste as us in horror don't necessarily like horror comedies. My buddy Rick loves horror, and I align with him 100% on horror movies, but he does not like horror comedy.
Really? Yeah, I love horror comedy.
So he I'm guessing, I don't know for sure. They
just go together like peanut butter and jelly.
Yeah. Like it makes sense. They really like so. Cocaine Bear is definitely a comedy more than it is a horror. Actually, it's a comedy thriller.
Horror,
but like it's by Elizabeth Banks, who directed it. And I absolutely love her. And also we do need to see it because we did cover the fact that we haven't is a testament to our failure to this podcast, because we cover the original Cocaine Bear story on the podcast.
Damn, maybe our revenues will go down now.
Yeah. So, but it is available on like VOD for like $20, but I don't notice it's actually playing at the Montpelier Theater in town. So I might just go tomorrow night. Like,
shit, if it's on VOD, I'll probably just watch it at home.
I think, because I think, and honestly,
and I'm not even saying I'm going to buy it.
No, exactly. Like I was going to give you that heads up. I'm like, listen, it made all its money. Don't worry about supporting it. It's going to be fine.
Once something hits VOD, that's how I watched Knock on the Cabin. It hit VOD. I'm like, oh, I'll just put it on cinema.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
Boom, I was watching a fucking 1080p copy.
Yeah,
with no issues.
I was gonna say, like, honestly, at this point, it's made its money back.
I plan on buying Knock at the Cabin now, so I will support the film monetarily in that sense.
Yeah.
But I'm supporting M. Night Shyamalan and a bunch of white execs at Universal or whatever.
And honestly, if
you're not really supporting the artist when you're buying a major movie or going to see it in the theater.
Yeah, I mean, well, you're allowing them to get their next movie made,
and you're supporting the genre by saying this horror movie did well when horror movies don't typically. But
when Cocaine Bear already did well, it made like 4 times its money back. You're gonna be fine. That being said, it's playing so if it was like $6 on VOD, I would just rent it. But it's like $20, so I'm not gonna do that. But it's playing in town here, so I'm just gonna go matinee one of these days because it's playing up until Wednesday, I think.
Yeah, matinee that shit.
Yeah, so it's like, spend $7. I'm gonna go watch it on the theater by myself because it's a horror comedy. I don't give a shit. So so anyway, I'm gonna go see that. But outside of that, so I've not seen that yet. But there is a cocaine cat in the news here, and it is a serval, which is a type of cat. It's like an exotic cat that is not native to this country, named Amory, was rescued from a tree in Cincinnati, Ohio. And after it was rescued, it tested positive for cocaine.
I like that they tested it for cocaine, meaning it had to be exhibiting certain signs or had like white all over its muzzle.
White powder and telling you about a screenplay it was writing.
Like otherwise,
Trying to
why
sell
would you test a cat, any cat, let alone a wild cat?
Hey guys, I got this fucking idea. Like, it's fucking, dude, it's crazy. Oh shit, test this fucking cat for cocaine.
Keep trying to show me a screenplay. Fuck.
God damn it. Yeah. No, it's like a really good idea. It's like, it's not done. It's like Godfather, but with cats. Yeah. It's called Catfather. Yeah, say hello to my little friend. I don't know if it's Scarface. It's different. We're gonna go call it Catface. Okay, let's put me up. Book him, Dano. Anyway, so the cat was taken to the Cincinnati Zoo for treatment, expected to make a full recovery, but probably gonna woke up very cranky when he doesn't have any cocaine.
And jonesing, which you never want to find a fucking wild cat jonesing for coke.
This is like, I mean...
I'll fucking slit your throat for a bump.
It's like, I got the fucking claws to do it, motherfucker. But anyway, the cat was, they said, likely kept as a pet, illegally imported into the United States.
What an expensive cat. Like, I give my cats dry food and the occasional wet food treat. This dude's giving his cat cocaine.
Guys,
bring out the wet food and let's cut him a line.
It's like, and he's got like a wet food and then just like a little line right there.
On top of it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he's like, come here, Oscar, come here, Amory. Yeah, that's right. You got a fucking $80 a gram, like, fucking
You've seen cats on catnip. I'm surprised this thing wasn't, like, through the tree.
Oh, dude, yeah. Like, a little help.
Just an ass out one end, head out the other.
Meow.
Because I've seen cats on catnip try to climb walls.
Oh, yeah.
Like, running a wall, be like, skitter, and then fall.
Yeah, and succeed about 50% up, and then realize, and then you get that oh shit look in that cat's eyes. You're like, oh, no.
The cocaine cat's putting claws into the drywall.
Yeah,
making its way up.
Yeah. So anyway, that's the story of the Cocaine Cat. It's not a sequel to Cocaine Bear, but it is an actual real life story. Actually, as Cocaine Bear was. Actually, Cocaine Bear, they filled in the entire movie, obviously, with fun stuff. But the Cocaine Bear was a real story. Look back on, I have no idea what episode it was, but it was probably what?
It was a while, over 2 years ago at least. Yeah, maybe 4.
Yeah. Something. I think pre-pandemic.
We've been doing this for 9 years.
Yep, we're going in 2024 will be our 10th year, February 2024. So we actually have a 10th anniversary special all planned.
We're going
to do something with it.
That's also my 10th and wedding anniversary year.
Oh, sweet. So we could just we can combine them.
And they're almost around the same date. They're within a month of each other, I believe.
Sweet. Yeah. Sweet. So we should just maybe live stream renewing your vows or something like that, and we can make that our sweet.
Did you do that in 10 years? I was just gonna get her a gift.
You can do it in 10 years. I don't have to.
Maybe the gift will be not having to do that.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't think people do it regularly. I don't think it's a natural thing to do. So that being said,
if we had time, but she's doing her school stuff, which means we won't have time next year. It'd be kind of nice to try to redo our honeymoon.
Do a nice gift.
We went to the Bahamas and she got food poisoning, and she got a stomach bug. She ended up spending 3/4 of the time in the bedroom of the hotel. Puking.
I like the thought of you being like, honey, I wanted to recreate our honeymoon as best as possible. And like literally, she's like, oh, we're going to the Bahamas, and you're like, yeah, and eat this fucking rotten eel or whatever.
Just leave some chicken under the refrigerator for a week and then make it into a stir fry.
I don't know, it doesn't smell so good. Just eat it. Why are you eating something completely different? Just eat it.
I've got KFC.
No, this is the same thing. I just did it differently. It's like, yeah. I don't know. I can definitely see the kernel on that bucket.
Yeah, I just realized we couldn't do that because of that. But figure something out.
Yeah. There's also just the gifts that you're supposed to get at like 10 years at some.
Hey, honey, if you're listening to the show, throw out some suggestions.
Yeah,
she listens sometimes.
Does she? Oh, well, that's nice. I wouldn't. Let's see.
And we love all of our listeners equally, by the way.
Oh yeah. Let's see. 10th anniversary.
Of the show's next year.
Gift. Let's see what that.
We should also get some. We should get some good guests. Maybe some returning guests. Maybe some new guests. I might go guest heavy.
Okay. The Tanner Aluminum is the 10th anniversary.
I've never met her.
So I'm just got a stripper named Aluminum.
Tanner. I go by a stripper named Aluminum. My friends call me Tanner.
Tanner Aluminum. Yeah.
Is that a real thing? Did you really? Did you just look that up?
It's the aluminum anniversary, or tin.
10.
Tin.
No,
10,
that 10
yes.
year is
10.
10.
10 is 10 or
Someone
over.
was lazy.
Yeah, oh yeah. No, people
What
were
are we
like,
doing for 10? Did you say 10? Writing it down.
Yeah.
Writing it down.
No, I was thinking-
First suggestion, best suggestion.
I was thinking diamond or gold. No, you said 10
10.
already. Yeah.
These were created during the war,
yeah.
by the way.
I got some
They had to give all their scrap metal to the war cause.
I got your
Honey,
standing.
I kept one tin can. I didn't give it to the troops.
Yeah, that's right. I got you.
Stick out your fist. Just kind of like put it over her hand.
Ow! Yeah.
It really cuts.
Yeah, I got you some standing seam roofing.
Can't seem to get it off. Well, good thing the 11th anniversary's goat. Wait 1 year, the goat will eat it off you.
Right, we can't just go to the doctor. No, ain't the doctor anniversary. That's 40.
Oh, it's really tin or aluminum.
Aluminum, yeah.
Okay, you know what? I got a year to do this.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get creative using that.
You should.
I
You
can
could do
knock it
some
out of the
cool-
park using something weird like that because at least I have
cool
a prompt.
molding stuff. Yeah.
It's like stand-up's hard, improv's hard. Someone throws out a prompt.
Yeah, exactly.
It gets easier.
Yeah. Hey, can I have a prompt for a stand-up? Aluminum. Fuck you. That sucks.
Handmade corrugated aluminum dildo. Handmade.
Yeah. It's made out of those like the.
It's made out of Sapporo cans.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I don't know. I think this might cut me a little bit. You don't like your gift? You don't like my aluminum fucking dildo gift? Oh God. Anyway, so that's that is yes.
Can I interrupt the show entirely? Because something popped in
We're
my
about
head?
to go into web droppings anyway. So why do you interrupt as we do our web droppings? Okay, now interrupt.
I learned something about scurvy this past week that I did not know.
Wow.
Did you know that scurvy, when you start succumbing to it and it starts really ravaging your body,
Right.
old scars are the first to deteriorate and reopen.
No shit.
So if you have like scars on you,
scar tissue just
they
dissolves,
They
huh?
burst apparently.
Wow, that's
so,
cool.
So it's often referred to as something along the lines of, I forget the exact terminology, but the disease of old wounds or the scar disease or whatever.
Yeah, that's
Because
cool.
as you start getting kind of sick and withery,
Scurvy.
If you have like a little scar in your eye, little
It just
white,
will pop
little white
open?
one, it'll be like bleh.
That's pretty sweet.
Because you
so like
deteriorate.
scar tissue just like
Your
dissolves or
tissue
whatever. Yeah.
weakens,
Yeah,
but
exactly,
it weakens
yeah.
where it's already the weakest, which you'd think scar tissue's tough.
Yeah.
It is a point where things aren't fully integrated as
yeah,
they
yeah,
should.
yeah,
It's a part where they're already
something happened over top of it
separated.
and be like, oh, we got to like put a little Band-Aid over this.
Yeah, so I
Skin
kind
Band-Aid.
of want to see a horror movie around that where like someone literally has scars from say domestic abuse, but then they get like a weird like global scurvy disease.
or somebody
like
literally
globally
with, like,
it happens,
with, like,
and then they like start opening.
and this is
Or
really,
cutters.
This is really dark. Like with somebody who kind of had tried to commit suicide ages ago and finally overcame everything, and then suddenly their fucking like wounds just burst
something.
open.
There's a horror
They're
movie
just bleeding.
idea
Oh my
there.
god, yeah, scurvy.
Just
Just call it scurvy.
Yeah, just the idea of old scars opening. Like
Yeah.
you get more after. Like if it keeps going,
and
like
you know,
other shit
and
happens.
I'm sure it's not like that, but yeah, just having it like pop and like and just be like like just.
I feel like it would have to be
bleeding all over the
super
place.
art house.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, there's really no way to do that. It's not very compelling. But at the same
No,
time, it's a little compelling.
I disagree. I think you can make that compelling because you can make that like just like essentially that's just the mechanism to get to the goal.
Flashbacks. The whole movie's flashbacks. Each time a scar opens, you get a flashback to that scar being created.
Yeah, you could do something with that. Yeah.
So the movie itself, where the person's getting them, is shorter, but then you get all these flashbacks to like them being beat, killed, almost killed.
And remember, like
going through war or something.
So there's definitely it could be like a disease kind of thing, scurvy spreading through. But like scurvy right now is just like you just don't have enough vitamin C or whatever.
Global scurvy.
Yeah.
Everyone's dying from
Yes.
it. And like
It's a pandemic, a scurvy pandemic.
Yeah,
A
you have
scurvy
someone in your
demic.
group, your little survivor group, because society crumbles.
Yeah.
And they're like the Marine, and they're like, yeah, I got you guys covered. I got gun training. I can build traps. I got you guys safe. We're gonna find some fucking lemons. But he's actually killing raiders, protecting his little group. But because he served in Iraq, he has like so many bullet hole wounds, old scars, that they all open up, and he literally dies from bullet hole wounds from 2 decades back, defending you while not getting hurt by the people he's killing.
I like it. I'm absolutely on fucking board for that. I say,
and in the end, a cis white male Republican who's never done a day of work in their life and has no scars in their body survives through that pedigree of life.
He's a scurvy savior.
Yeah,
yeah.
See, I told you, being a wasp would come in handy someday.
Yeah,
I
like,
have all the lemons. Like the end of the movie is him just opening up a briefcase. He was very secretive. And it's just lemons.
Yeah,
He like, eats one like an apple.
Yeah, it's like Elon Musk and Bezos like sitting there just sucking it out all the lemons on a fucking plantation.
Yeah, you gotta have someone harding lemons or limes.
Yeah. He's like, I do declare, it's fun just being a Mr.
Like someone walks in the room. Do I smell a margarita?
Yeah, try to stay safe. Squirt. Yeah. Oh man. So yeah, though that's pretty fun. I actually like the thought of that idea. That's one of the things I've noticed we've kind of gotten away from is one of the like actual foundations of the show is for a while now we've been talking all these like funny weird news stories and stuff, but we haven't done we haven't gone out of the way to make new content.
I tried there.
Yes. Yeah. No. That was. I like it when it happens organically. We don't want to force it. But I did realize that was
earlier
today.
Quasi forced because I had an idea that there could be a movie in that, but I didn't think about the movie idea until now.
Yes. So we're gonna go into web droppings proper, and you are gonna talk about some. I actually heard a little bit about the story from another podcast, but they didn't go into too much detail. But I do really. This one pretty much could be made a movie out of. Honestly, it's actually not unlike the actual Ouija Origin of Evil or whatever the was it Mike Flanagan movie?
Yep.
Version of this or maybe no, I'm thinking of Veronica maybe. Remember Veronica the
Veronica and Archie.
Exactly yeah. Veronica where she does that fucking Ouija board and fucking eats Archie's face. No, there's that movie Veronica from Netflix a while ago that was like a Latin American movie. It was I think maybe Spanish. It was a Spanish language movie. I can't remember where it was from. But it was a. Oh no! I'm thinking of the American version. No, maybe I'm thinking of the. I don't know. Anyway, there was two Veronicas. But there was one that was a really well received movie. I actually only thought it was middle of the road, but it was a movie on. That people were like the scariest movie on Netflix ever, and actually no, it was the American one I think. But anyway, there was one where these girls do like a Ouija board thing, and then one of them gets possessed. Classic Ouija board style. And this sounds like something similar, but it's not necessarily. It sounds more like a psychosomatic thing anyway.
All right.
Yeah. I'm bearing the lead. I'm just like now that I've pretty much given the entire detail of the story. Why don't you go ahead and give me the headline?
28 girls taken to a hospital for anxiety, in quotes, and fainting after using Ouija boards at a school in Colombia.
Yes.
This comes from the New York Post. This isn't some local Colombian newspaper, which I find the most interesting is actually Hop Seas and made it into what we'd call bigger mainstream media.
Wait, New York Post is
it's a rag, but...
is a right wing rag. So this was probably like them, honestly using this almost satanic panic style too. Because this is, I'm sure in there they're like, don't let your kids play with a Fisher Price fucking Ouija board or Milton Bradley, whoever makes them. It's like, yeah, because they've got a line on the devil. But
I forgot who makes them, but I did get a Ouija board at a church sale last summer. I got one of the 1960s, 70s.
Oh, nice, yeah.
Early ones, one of the first ones they ever made. I guess it's not worth a ton, maybe like $50, but I got it for 50 cents. And the nice nun at the church who checked me out at their church sale.
You use this for
She brought out a piece of paper and a pen. She goes, "Can we just write your name down?" I'm like, "How come?" She goes, "I just want to pray for your soul." No, we had a good laugh over it. It was a joke, but
of course, yeah. That is awesome. I love that.
She was a cool nun.
Yeah. So it's essentially. I mean, the Ouija board is a game. I mean, and it's made by I can't remember. I'm going to look up who essentially bought the. I mean, or who essentially is the one that releases the one that everybody buys. And I just love the fact that people are like, "Oh my god, a Ouija board!" And it's like
if you look up the blue covered ones from the 60s or 70s, that's what I got.
Okay. Hasbro inherited from Parker Brothers, so it was originally.
So I got a Parker Brothers.
It was originally Parker Brothers, and Hasbro bought it. Yeah, so Parker Brothers, same people who bought it shows you it's nonsense, but I do love me a good Ouija board.
Yeah, and I like playing with them too. It's always fun just to pull one out and be like, "Ooh."
Oh, yeah. I actually,
it's just fucking dumb.
I remember
and fun.
I was at I think it was your place one time, and we were playing with a buddy of ours who was really into that stuff, and I just remembered we were using it, and there was all of these we were just what's your name, and it was just JL. F. Evans 7. It was just oh my god, it's Jalakman 7 or whatever. I couldn't take it seriously, so I at some point, I had to kind of leave because I'm ruining this for other people. But to me, it's just it's any like that, or like when people are doing tarot cards.
Oh, this was our last apartment back here in town before we bought our house.
Exactly.
Because that was a haunted apartment.
Yep. It was. That's right. And it was, I think, a Halloween party. Yeah. And I was wearing a squirrel costume.
That was a fun Halloween party.
I was wearing a squirrel costume in a ring of salt, playing with a Ouija board with a bunch of drunk people. And we're getting attacked by a cat. Speaking of evil creatures again. I might have to put him in the basement for the first time.
Might have to put him down.
Yeah, for the first time in ages. I might have to put him in the basement. Anyway,
he's obsessed with me.
You continue the story. I'll see.
Yeah, we had a fun little Halloween party. I want to just go back in time to the fact that we actually had every reason to think that place was haunted in ways I've never seen in my entire life. We were moving in, and boxes of stuff we hadn't unpacked were moved in front of the door, barricading it. My kids, we never told about it, and when they were there, they were like, why did the shower curtain just keep closing and opening over and over again in front of me? And stuff like that.
I remember you had like a few, like there was like a mirror thing.
A mirror was propped up against a wall at like a 45-degree angle, whatever, and went the opposite way out and smashed on the floor, which is impossible.
I actually had
physics says that's impossible.
I actually had a really creepy.
Yeah, that was the most haunted place I've ever lived. That was creepy as fuck.
I actually had a creepy situation the other night. I was laying in bed, and suddenly I started I started feeling something on my backside, and it turned out my dad snuck in and raped me.
Oh, again.
Yeah, my dad's been dead for 10 years.
That's the scary part.
Yeah. Well, he's dead to me. I mentioned it today. Yeah, because he used to rape me as a child.
Because of the rapes. Yeah, because of the rapes.
Yes. Yeah, but he still knows where I live. That old clever bastard. He'll find me. He'll find me. Oh, he does. I love you, Dad. If you knew how to use podcasts, you would be listening to this. So there's these 28 girls taken to the hospital for quote unquote anxiety and fainting after using the Ouija boards. Now I think this is this is a I'm guessing
mass hysteria
using Ouija boards and
also
Colombia, I'm guessing very Catholic. Every South America is very Catholic,
and every
Central
Gen
and
Z
South America
has anxiety.
Yeah. Yes.
Every Gen Z. It's a character trait now.
So imagine if they all thought. My guess is like somebody used it and somebody had like a bad experience, and then suddenly it just spread across. This hysteria spread across.
Yeah, mass hysteria.
Yeah.
I want to like go to high school now and find that one kid who's like, you need to go to the principal's office. You don't have anxiety.
Yeah.
You should probably talk to someone.
You should probably talk to somebody until you
have it.
Yeah. Want us to do some more active shooter drills?
Actually,
any of your classmates could shoot you at any time. God, why don't you have it, you Zoomer?
Us Gen Zs. All right, we skipped the boomers doing the nuke drills where you had to go under your desk to protect yourself from a nuke because that works.
Yep, exactly. Yep.
and now we also are too old to know the school shooter drills, so we're in that sweet spot right in the middle.
Gen Xers, yeah.
We didn't have to do nuke drills. We didn't have to do school shooter drills. Gen Xers don't typically have high levels of anxiety. It's mainly millennials, boomers, and Gen Z.
Because Gen Xers, we had angst, not anxiety. Yeah. And we had teen angst because we had nothing to be mad about. So we're just like, hey, let's listen to Nirvana and just like...
Our generation's a reason sneakers are collectible now. we
started
the pumps and stuff. And,
I remember, man.
If you had a pristine pair of those pumps...
Dude, I remember I wanted a pair of like Michael the Air Jordans with the pumps.
I begged my parents forever for them.
I wanted those
for Christmas one year.
And one of my friends who was like an only child has his pair, and of course I was one of 6.
I was an only child. Was I that friend?
Nope, not at all. Nope, you were just a guy.
You were background at that point in my life.
This was pre-high school.
Pre-high school, okay. Yes.
This was when like Air Jordan.
I got my
pumps.
I got my pumps in 7th grade, I think. For Christmas.
Yeah, this was middle school for me. So this would have been, probably I was probably 6th grade or 5th grade or something like that. So
it was like, ooh, they make your shoes snugger. You mean like laces?
Yeah.
You mean just tighten your laces tighter?
Exactly, yeah. But instead of tying it once, you have to throughout the day pump it and get like really buff fingers
because it did have a release valve, so they wouldn't basically pop.
Yeah, exactly. So I remember, like, I came from a relatively not well-off family at that point. Like, at some point we were.
They didn't hit the lottery till high school.
But yeah, I remember asking. I was like, I want some Jordan pumps.
Did you get high heels instead?
No. Yeah. Those Air Jordan stilettos.
I thought you said pumps.
Yeah. Fucking dude, Michael Jordan putting his name on everything back in those days.
You might be crying a lot, son, but your calves look sexy as hell.
They're sexy as hell. That's right.
I can eat off those calves. I don't know what that means,
and
son.
That's when my dad first started raping me.
Thanks, Michael Jordan.
Thanks. Yeah, that's right. Wait, so he sues the class action lawsuit against Michael Jordan and his Jordan stilettos from 1993. A
lot of middle schoolers got fucked.
Yeah, Daddy thought my legs looked better than Mommy's. Yeah, pump it up, bitch.
Less hairy at that age.
Yeah, that's right, you smooth son.
My smooth boy.
Yes,
he's gonna make it to the NBA someday.
Yeah.
Those gave him 6 inches on his height.
Yeah, he was as tall as my wife. Oh man, yeah, that's right.
He could dunk if it wouldn't require running.
Oh my god, yeah. So, so I ended up getting.
I dunked on him.
I ended up. My parents were like, oh, pumps are pumps. The pump shoes are pump shoes. So they got me like it was Jordache pumps. They were like $29, and I was like,
they did the same thing though, right?
No, they were exactly the same thing. But I was so embarrassed by them. I cut the pumping part out of it. Because I didn't want, because it was fine to wear Jordache, but I was like, if they see this, and I'm pretty sure it wasn't even a basketball on the pump thing; it was like a football or a tennis ball. Yeah, exactly.
Doesn't even make sense.
It was
a billiard.
Yeah, it was a backgammon, an entire backgammon board. Pump up the backgammon. It's just all these kids playing backgammon, like jumping,
wearing
and
those.
Yeah.
Really improves your game.
Yeah, it's like a bishop from a chessboard. Yeah. So there's some new content on that one. So I assume this is psychosomatic stuff or whatever.
Yeah, there's not a whole lot else to the story. It happened. I don't think they're gonna come up with an answer anytime soon. Oh, it was the Ouija board. This fucker's haunted.
Yeah,
it's holding up on like Colombian news. Like, aren't you guys gonna talk about the cartels and how you're gonna stop them? Haunted wood.
Yeah, well, it was what the president of Mexico recently was talking about how the fentanyl crisis in America had less to do with the cartels and more to do with the fact that Americans didn't hug their kids as much or something like that. Yeah, I'm just like, no, I think it might have to do something with your cartels. Granted, it's our war on drugs. If we just fucking decriminalize shit and let people just make shit in this country, we could actually take money away from the cartels.
I did see today.
Why bother listening to shit?
I did see today the new pro-Biden ad using nothing but Marjorie Taylor Greene's talking, where she literally goes, in 2020, 10,000 pounds of fentanyl were seized at the border. In 2021, 12,000 pounds were seized at the border. Like, she's saying it like it's getting worse, but no, that means they're getting it. More. So they used that. Just her talking at the end, it goes, Joe Biden keeping America safe from drugs.
It's the same thing they have about like deportations and whether you like it or not. Like
the numbers going up means we're working on it.
Like Obama deported more people than and we've been catching more people at the border.
It's correlation and causation issues that these people don't get. Be like, we caught 100% more rapists this year. Republicans be like, there's 100% more rapists.
No,
actually, we're just getting better at catching these.
I was actually just thinking about that, about how when it's really tough for like cities and states to pass
because big numbers look scary to dumb people.
When they pass reporting requirements, especially for sexual assault, making it easier for women to allege any kind of sexual assault, sexual abuse, anything like that.
There's Jared saying that women always allege.
Yeah, oh yeah.
They never happen, but they're always alleged.
Yeah. Okay, all right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's funny.
I'm off work this week because I'm alleged to have.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, when they pass these adjusted reporting requirements to make it easier for people to bring accusers or to accuse people and bring them to justice, then suddenly immediately those numbers go up. So of course the people against those administrations say, hey, since that person took office, rapes have gone up to 200%, and it's like, no, actually it's just easier for people to report them. That's a good thing, but it does make it look like more happened, even though they've always been happening, but now it's easier for people to report them.
It's not like a rapist watches the news going, this is my year, this is my year.
Yeah. I one for the rapist.
Like, that's not happening. You gotta get up those numbers.
Yeah, it's hashtag you're the rapist. Yeah, oh my god.
My RBI was low.
Oh god. Anyway, so
rape's batted in.
Oh man, yeah. Got to bring.
Well, we're talking about Trump, Marjorie Taylor. You want to do your pro-Trump platform?
Yes, yeah, we're actually.
It seems to segue very nicely.
Yes, this is one. Actually, it's funny because we've been using some like.
Yeah, do you want to say your pro-Trump platform real quick? I just realized how I said that.
Exactly. Hey, you got a pro-Trump platform you want to talk about, don't you?
Hey, we're platform. Go ahead. Who's going to cancel us?
Exactly, that's true. Yeah.
Our employers, our friends, our family.
Oh yeah, all of those. I don't give a shit about them. So there is. Actually, the funny thing is, you and I, like everybody else out there, have been using ChatGPT to help us out with certain things, and one of the things in the show is using ChatGPT or Bing, like essentially Microsoft Chat, whatever, to help summarize articles, and it would not summarize this. I typed it into the Bing chat, and it created bullets for me, and then they disappeared. Said sorry. It's like it read it afterwards because it has to do with anti-vax.
It'll read itself as it writes.
Yes,
and autocorrect.
And it said, and this one said, "Sorry, I can't actually provide any insight on that." And I literally watched it type out, and I was like, if I had taken a screenshot, it had it all written out, and then it disappeared. And I
tried doing that too. Tried to do screenshots and copy paste really quick.
Yeah,
it's too fast.
Quick. Yeah,
it's too fast.
It's one of the beauties of it. It's gotten really fast, but it's also unfortunately. But anyway, so the reason for it is. There is the social media platform Getter, which I totally forgot about, but it was in the news back in 2021 because it was like
get her done because that's their ad campaign, right?
Big surprise,
dude. They fucking failed at that one.
Because big surprise. It was it became like when you had these quote unquote free speech platforms where you're just promoting hate. Suddenly they became a bastion for like say ISIS and these and people were like, oh wait a minute, we don't want them to say horrible things. Like what does it say about your platform that this is what this is what you're promoting is quote unquote free speech because you're like, no, I want to spread my hate speech, not this anti-American hate speech.
I hope by the time I'm dead, I hear of some fix to this. Just some fix.
I don't know.
Just some.
I think we're going down before we go up, but. Maybe by the time I
cheer that preppers, your day is coming.
Yeah, good for you, buddy.
good for you. Yeah, remember, I want to start that prepper business I mentioned to you 9 years ago.
Yeah.
Where you sell prepper supplies, but you make sure you take down their home address. And then when the shit hits the fan, you know where all the shit you sold is, and you can just go get it back.
And also anything that could be potentially weaponized, you have like a timer in it, so the second you just like hit a button and it deactivates everything, so you go get it.
Oh, all bunker locks you have a backdoor key for.
Just like undoes everything, go in, grab it.
You don't prep. You sell prepper shit, and you're like, all right, so we're going to live year 1 in this bunker, year 2 in this bunker, because they all have like a year's worth of food.
Yep.
Be like, we just got a map of where we can go. We got easily 2 decades of local bunkers. We don't even need to leave the area.
Yeah, I'm totally for that.
Shady bunker salesman.
And so back in like 2021, there was like some shit about it. So I totally forgot about this platform, but apparently it's been tanking ever since. And they've decided to go ahead and pivot. And the way they're going to do that,
fucking hardcore porn,
is they want to turn into selling. And actually, I checked multiple platforms for this because. It originally was a Rolling Stone article, which was behind a paywall, but it was like, well, I'm sure Rolling Stone did their due diligence. Like, it's crazy to say that, but they're a proper journalistic organization.
Rolling Stone does better journalism than a lot of places.
Yeah, no, like
so does Teen Vogue.
I was not concerned. I was not concerned about it being fake when I read that, but I decided to go look a few other places just to make sure.
When I'm not jerking off to Teen Vogue, I'm learning about the deepest inside political.
I came here to jerk off to teenagers, and I learned about the war in Ukraine.
Now I'm woke.
That's how they get you.
Teen Vogue.
Our pedophiles turning woke.
Pedophiles woke.
Yeah,
I really believe in transgender rights now, but I still want a fuck kid. Yeah. Well, what? I can't come to the party?
Yeah. But hey, no,
I'm an ally.
I'd fuck a boy that thinks he's a girl.
Did you say Allie? Is that a little girl's name?
Anyway, so there's they've decided to go ahead and pivot and turn their platform into, or not turn it, but like pivot part of their business platform to selling sperm. Specifically, they want to have men who are who are not vaccinated, because apparently not vaccinated sperm for these conspiracy theorists must mean healthier sperm.
Pure bloods.
Pure, exactly.
Yeah, they got the whole Harry Potter thing going on, pure bloods.
Yep. So we are,
whoever thought Harry Potter would become a right-wing thing overall, they took pure blood from it, and then the author became one.
Dude, the funny thing is, like, I remember, like, years ago, Jon Stewart pointing out that, like, how anti-Semitic that thing was. He's just like, look at like it was like who I don't know anything about the books, but there was like this greedy like troll who like collect like all the gold.
The money people were trolls with big noses,
big noses who like talk like this.
Or goblins,
yeah, exactly, the goblins. And he's just like the goblin. He's like I love these books.
And then you have purebloods and Nod. And...
Exactly. Yes. He's like this is like that was anti-Semitic. That was before she was like openly turf anti-trans. But like
don't ever say that on Reddit. By the way, of such a community who loves ganging up on bad people. Man, if you say one bad thing about J.K. Rowling, they fucking tear you to pieces.
Yep, people are in a cult, man. So anyways, that's anti-vax sperm sales on Getter. Now, Scott, we've got time for just one real quick story, but we're gonna make this
less
not
of
a real
story.
We're gonna make this actually less of a story. And you had something that came to the table because we were thinking about
tale
because of Bing AI. We've heard about what they call what do they call hallucinations?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, AI hallucinating.
Yes. And
so
you suffered one very specific.
Yeah, I decided I was.
This is an amazing one too, by the way.
I was using Bing AI by throwing our story link in and saying generate a very highly detailed bullet point list of the points of the story I should be aware of, and it does a good job of that. Sometimes you have to go back and punch them up. But I did that a couple times with the stories I had and realized we didn't have enough stories for the show. So I basically was like, I wonder if I can use it as like a fancy search engine. And I asked it in the last week, what horror-related or adjacent news stories have been in the news that maybe aren't the top of the news?
Which, by the way, I think ultimately that is what people would hopefully be able to use it
hopefully.
for. That's the plan. I mean, we're still in the infancy of AI. But.
So it spits out a link to mirror.co.uk, the mirror.
Yep.
And it actually, the link is great. Actually, it's linked just how any internet website would do its linking.
The friendly links, right?
Like it says news, and then weird news, and then the story's headline, which is woman haunted friendly pub ghost,
and then an ID number
for the post.
Yeah, exactly, to make sure that there's a unique URL for those.
So
those
very
out
legit.
There.
And then when I had asked it, I also said, "And can you bullet point it?" Like I decided to kill two birds. So I read the bullet points. I'm like, "Wow, cool. Woman's name's Natasha Hodge. She's 36 years old. She met Malcolm at a pub in Westerbury-on-Trim in Bristol." She says Malcolm's a friendly ghost. She met him at the pub. He followed her home. He moves things around her home, turns lights on, lamps off, makes banging noises, touches her hair, touches her face. Malcolm's obsessed with her and wants to be with her, blah, blah, blah. Keeps going. She even hired a paranormal investigator.
Sounds like an awesome story,
I was like, fuck yeah.
So did you follow up and click on the link?
I clicked the link and I got to themirror.com, but a 404 page, meaning nothing found. The link goes nowhere. And I'm like, oh, you know what? This is probably a story that was debunked. It's fake, etc. They took it down.
It wasn't a permalink. It moved.
The author raped someone, and they had to destroy everything they ever made.
My dad wrote it. Yep.
And so I was like, okay, let me just Google keywords: her name, the ghost name, the name of the pub, the facts from the story.
You and I know essentially how to slug an article where we can
go deep in the internet.
3 unique things, and it should bring up within the first 10 results.
And you even did this after I told you this yourself.
Yep.
There is nothing on the internet. Nothing.
So what we've determined
this story is 100%
because guess what?
fake.
There's never such a thing as scrubbing anything from the internet. Even if they moved that story, somebody would have picked it up. It would have been archived. There would have been somebody posting on Reddit. There would have been some link to it. This was a pure Bing AI hallucination.
Yep, came up with a perfectly good looking link that is 100% using the structure of Mirror's links.
Yes.
It bullet pointed everything you should know in this story, and it never happened.
You know what's funny is you and I
created it basically did like, you want something, I better just give him something.
I remember it's funny because we're talking about creating our and we're still in the process of making our AI episode. We're getting closer and closer. But remember, like, a big part of it was me spending a shitload of time creating these fake headline generator,
and then making fake stories off those.
But I'm like, we didn't need to do any of that. We could just ask them to make a new one and not even give it a headline.
And I did argue with it. I said, I'm sorry, but that news story isn't real. I followed the link, and the link doesn't go anywhere. And it said, sometimes it did the whole thing. Sometimes links are broken, or they don't work, or the story got taken down.
Sometimes I hallucinate.
And I then replied, no, I'm sorry, but I did Google every noun in this story and combinations of them to find what I needed, and it still didn't show up. And it literally got sassy. Goes, well, I can't do this anymore. We're going to have to start a new conversation.
Yeah, dude. It's still getting sassy. I do like at least that Bing AI has have at least like allowed they backed off of they overclamped and they started backing off.
Yeah, they underclamped.
Yeah,
now.
and now they're
well,
just
no,
like,
they didn't underclamp. They brought it back to square one.
They essentially are just like, okay, we're now just gonna offer a disclaimer ahead of time. We're saying, hey, you know what? We've got like you might get some hallucinations and some literally fake shit. This is still testing.
To be fair, I did have it set on the 3 settings on more creative.
Yes, okay.
But more creative shouldn't be lie to me.
No, that should be like make it more whimsical.
Yeah.
You know,
A button that says lie to me would have resulted in that answer.
Yes, yeah.
But I asked it just to be more creative, meaning I thought it would it would use the word horror maybe more loosely.
Yes. Well, I think we are just at the 1 hour mark. I think we're pretty good to go out at this point. We got our fake story in there. We got a nice little. We'll come back next week and give you guys a review on Scream 6 and anything else we've seen in the meantime. And we're gonna have a little bit of fun. I'm gonna go out on, speaking of AI, a song I made using a new synthesizer called Synthesizer V, which is a trained. There's a bunch of voice models. So this is not a real woman singing. This is a computer singing that I typed lyrics into and did a lot of work to get it to sound this way. But this is a song. I just called it FOMO for the sake of it. But eventually I'm going to actually put real lyrics into it and release it on Spotify under Sonic Jalopy. But have fun listening to FOMO. And until next time, folks, get lost.
Get lost.
Watching the ghost walk out of the ceiling, I've got a feeling that this whole night's on fire. Playing the game, but it's already over. You should have shown her that this whole night's on fire. Turn it on. To you, it's up to you. Turn it on, play it through, shut it down. It's up to you. It's up to you. Watching the ghost walk out of the ceiling, got a feeling that this whole night's on fire. Playing the game, but it's already over. You should have shown her that this whole night's on fire.